Hey everybody, and welcome to the Dante Bazzea Show. Today, we got a special guest, Mr. Jean-Marc Johannes, who is a professional skateboarder, though he doesn't qualify himself as a professional, because during the podcast he said that he's which means amateur, because in skateboarding there's 3 levels. There's flow, where a company like supports your skating and gives you free product, but you're not officially on their team. Then there's where you're now officially on the team and you get free product. And I think you get paid by the company to skate, but I'm not too sure about that one, so don't quote me on that. And then there's pro, where you get paid to skate. You have signature gear like your name on a board or a pair of shoes, that kind of thing. And Jean-Marc does have signature gear. He has a signature pair of wheels. So yeah, I do qualify him as a professional skateboarder, because also he's one of the few guys in South Africa that makes a living off skateboarding. I think he doesn't qualify himself as a pro because he doesn't have like a pro board, because in skateboarding for some reason you have to have your name on a board to be qualified as a pro. Though in my opinion, I qualify people as pro who like get paid to do it and make a living of it like he does. He's also a Guinness World Book of Records holder. He broke the record for a skateboarding world record, which we did discuss in this podcast. And he also was the first ever skateboarder to win gold at a contest for South Africa, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, guys, this was a great interview that I really enjoyed listening to and doing with him. It was an honor to have Jean-Marc on my podcast. So thank you for doing this interview. It was really fun. So yeah, guys, please welcome Jean-Marc Johannes.
How's it going, bro?
Good, and you?
Good, thanks.
Thanks for doing this.
Cool. Anytime, bro.
Sweet. Stoked to have you on the podcast.
Thanks, bro. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Been watching your skating for a long time. You've always been one of the best in the country, and it's nice to see like a South African skater like you like do all those good like overseas and all that stuff. It's inspiring, even though I don't want to pursue skating as a career, but just seeing it is still super sick.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's taken a lot of hard work, but I mean, like anything else, you got to put in the work if you want to get where you want to be,
Exactly. Cool, I got some questions.
Awesome.
Now, my first question is a bit weird because I'm not too sure if you've been asked this before. I try to find unique questions because I know you've done a lot of interviews and you probably get the same questions over and over again, which probably gets boring.
It's all good, bro.
With your name, how come people, because I've never heard anyone just say Jean, everyone just says Jean-Marc. How come you go by with your middle name, not just your first name?
Good question. So my name is like Jean-Marc as like one name. I actually have 2 other names after that before my surname. So I think people just kind of go with whatever's easy for them. Some people just say Jean, like some people like, okay, Jean-Marc's like too long to remember, so just find something quick. Yeah, so like whatever people are cool with, I'm cool with that. So I mean, some people just say JM because like that's just the easiest way to go about it. But my whole name is Jean-Marc Keegan Brian Johannes. Again, that's like way too long. So people just go, people just go with whatever,
It's unique, so
Thank you. I like to think so.
At least people know who they're talking about when you say Jean-Marc.
Not very common idea,
Exactly. How did you get into skateboarding?
I saw it at school. That was like that was the first time I saw skateboarding was at school. But at the time, I didn't know what it was, and I went to skateboarding only because I completely sucked at every other sport. To be completely honest with you, I just couldn't do it. It just wasn't getting me. And then I got into skateboarding, and that was like really, pulling me in. And I thought, this is fun, this is different. I want to stick with this. Stuck with it, and I just went with my friends like from school to like the skate parks and stuff, and just kind of almost every day I was at the park for like a straight year, got into skateboarding, and then came to the first contest, won my first contest, and that was it. I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Sick. Why do you like skateboarding? Like, why after all these years have you continued to just skate?
Wow, there's so many reasons. For me, skateboarding is like almost like my outlet to express what I'm thinking. It could have been, it didn't even have to be skateboarding. It could have been art. It could have been music, it could be anything, but it's like my outlet to kind of express my creativity. So yeah, skateboarding has its own like tricks and everything, but skateboarding is this like canvas for me to kind of like just express what I'm thinking with no limitations. So as much as it's changed over the years, and as much as like it became more and more a career for me, it's still what it is. It's still like today I went out for a session and it was still that same thing. It's my canvas to kind of like express myself, what I'm thinking, and there's no limits to it. So I think having something that has no limits, you'll keep coming back for sure.
I understand what you mean, because growing up I played soccer, but with soccer there's not much like progression. Well, there is progression, but like you can't like make up your own stuff and that kind of thing. It's kind of like there's a how it's done, that's the way it's done. With skating you can like, oh, you can flip into this, you can flip out, you can do all this different stuff. There's always something new to learn.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And you can also like, what's cool and why I ideally got into skateboarding, because like I came into it like as my own, like like I had weird crazy tricks. I'm thinking of the craziest things, and like that's okay.
Exactly.
And that's what I loved, and that's what I loved about it.
Also, what's nice about skating is you can have anyone can be like any type of skater. Like you got people who are more bowl skaters, you got people like you who are more tech, you got people who like just going down hills. It's all you can all different types of skating.
Exactly. Yeah, no, for sure.
Why did you choose to become more of a tech skater, like a ledge kind of skater, compared to like let's say skating a bowl? I know I have seen you skate a bowl before.
Yeah. I think like where I grew up skateboarding, there was only ledges, like pavements and whatever. Like there was nothing else. I lived really far from like a skate park, so I could only go there like maybe like once every 2 weeks or whatever. So I didn't really get into it as much. I mean, I'm sure if I skated that all the time, I would have got into that. But I just skated a lot of ledges all the time, every single day. And like for me, I don't know, tech skateboarding, and it's like it's obviously evolved a lot. Nowadays, like you have to do flip in and flip out, like in order for it to like be like legit. I think I chose it because it's like again it was something that I could like express what I was thinking and how like all the tricks I was thinking of, like I was happy with like a kickflip to like a slide or something, but then I'll land it and still feel like, no, I want to flip in, slide, flip out, or maybe flip in, shove it to another slide and then big spin out or something. So it's just like, this is all just the way that I think like as a person. And yeah, tech skateboarding really helped me kind of just get all of that out my head, So yeah, tech skateboarding really, helped me, like kind of figure out skateboarding a lot quicker, for sure.
Cool. Are there any like other tech type of skaters that you look up to, like in the industry?
Oh yeah, for sure. Skated with him for quite a bit, It's helped me a lot. Sewa Krutkov, you might know Sewa Krutkov.
I heard of him.
A friend of mine, and he's my mentor.
He's really good at flat ground.
He's one of the best skateboarders like ever, and he's obviously super good and mentor to me as well. Like I've learned like so much from him. Sewa Krutkov is like definitely number one for me. There's so many other tech skateboarders. Obviously, Rodney Mullen was like the first.
I love Rodney Mullen.
Yeah, tech skateboarder. Like we all saw Rodney Mullen, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skateboarder, and like what like am I watching? This is blowing my mind. And I think when I saw that was like, okay, that's how I want to like skate. I want to try and learn that. You see like other skateboarders like have different styles to tech skateboarding, so you kind of like, it's interesting, it never, it's never the same. Everything is different. Everyone has new combinations, which is cool. So definitely Sewa, Rodney Mullen, Chris Haslam for sure, definitely. If it wasn't for Chris Haslam, I don't know if I'd even be, where I am today, just how much he's helped me as well, So really those skateboarders for me, aside from their skateboarding, just their personality and how much they're willing to help somebody is like, that really is motivating to me for sure.
The first ever skate video, like proper like full length video I watched when I was growing up was almost round 3 with Rodney and Haslam.
Oh yeah. That's a classic. That was a classic. For sure.
It's rewatchable. You watch it over and over.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was like, when I saw that, I just like almost skateboard. Like I'm like, that's my dream. I want to ride for almost skateboards one day. Like, and then
You technically
it's
do.
actually crazy. I ride for almost skateboards for a few years now, and the way it happened was I gave Chris Asper my sponsor me video, and like I think it was like a week or two later, I got a call, and they just asked me if I wanted to represent almost, and obviously here in South Africa. So it was just so crazy to kind of like see that whole thing come to life. And then just last year, I was at the almost warehouse in Los Angeles, and it was really cool to kind of see everyone, behind the brand. And I actually had the opportunity to like make my own board, pick up
That's
the
it.
graphic and go into the office, kind of put the graphic, my own thing on there. So it was, wow, it was really something, to be honest. It was something special for sure, and I'm thankful for that.
Sounds like an awesome experience.
It was dream come true.
What's it like hanging out with all the pros when you go to America or just somewhere overseas?
It's something for me personally, like, cause it's something I always dreamt about doing, but it's so motivating to skate with them. It's so, aside from just the skateboarding as well, just talking to them, they are so dedicated and so motivated to life, and it shows in the skating as well. It's definitely a special, bunch of people. Definitely, they are super, super, dedicated to what they do. And that energy, kind of just, it rubs off on you for sure. So for me, they like mentors to me, and like hanging out with them. At the end of the day, we're all skaters, and we're all homies, everything, so it's really cool to just talk to them, and just be motivated by them for sure.
One thing I've noticed about like the skate culture compared to other sports is that when you can go like basically anywhere in the world and you can like just chat and hang out with people, and it's like everyone that kind of speaks the same language. Like even if there might be some language like barriers, but like you can chat to any skater and it's perfectly chill, and it feels like you're chatting just like your friend.
I think like that's the thing. Skateboarding is like this language on its own, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And I've just noticed like every time I go to a new country, it's just the same thing. Like I remember, like here's a good example. Last year, we were at the Fise European Series, and after the contest, like I just wanted to skate street. I was just going the whole time I was there. I was just hotel back to the contest, hotel back to the contest, and then I was like, I just want to skate street right now and just cruise. Straight after the contest, I just cruised around in the streets, and I found like a bunch of skateboarders like at like a local spot. Knew nobody, and I just started jamming with them, and they obviously spoke French, and I didn't speak any French, but it was all good, like they like still welcomed me into like their session, and I told them where I was from. They were super stoked when they heard I was from South Africa. So the same thing in Indonesia as well. We had the same thing. Like I was the only South African there, and they welcomed me. It was just like one big family, so definitely skateboarding is special for sure.
That's rad. What was it like competing at the Fise contests?
Was the first, well, the one that I went to in 2016, the one that I won, competing, winning a Fise World Series was unbelievable. Really, it was unbelievable. I didn't believe anybody. When they told me the score, I didn't believe them for sure. Because I skated my heart out, and obviously, competing, getting to the final, and then seeing your name like in first place and like not move. It's like, nah, you're lying. It has to move. It can't be real. And then, yeah, that was unreal. It was just crazy to experience that. And then next year, did the same thing in the World Series again. It was just like, wow, this is crazy. So I think the biggest experience for me was like after those two, I got invited to Indonesia, and I placed on the podium there for the first time. It was like Indonesia X, and got the invite to the Street League Olympic qualifiers, and that was like blew my mind, because just like if I think back to where I started skateboarding, like in Athlone, you watch Street League to motivate you to go skate, and then you're not sure how you're going to get there, and like when the day comes that you're actually there, it's like surreal, to be honest. Really, really surreal. So competing in Fise, competing in SLS and Indonesia as well, really like crazy, amazing experience, and I can't wait to go back. I really can't.
Which one was harder to compete in, Vice or League?
Street League. I think, yeah, Street League was harder. I think the hardest one for me out of Vice and Indonesia, I would say Indonesia for sure, because it was like a Pro-Am Open and I'm still am, so it's like you mixed up with everybody. There was like, I got into like the final, and I knew like the weather was picking up, like the wind was picking up, and my run had like a lot of flip tricks. And you know how it is, like if you're doing flip tricks in the wind, like that's gonna go either way. You're not sure what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
You'll even see in the run, like I did like the flip front board like in the middle, and like it was just going all over the place. But like I put the run together. So I think Indonesia was the hardest for me because I was really fighting for it, because I knew like the money that I would win, I'd be able to use to get to like the next contest.
Smart.
So I was like, I need to like come out with something, and thankfully I did, So I was really stoked about that.
Who was your first ever sponsor?
Wow.
Gotta go to the roots.
Yeah. So my first sponsor, well, I won my first sponsor in a contest, was the same contest that I won. My first contest that I won in Cape Town. I was 11, and I got it was a shop sponsor, like a surf and skate kind of shop sponsor.
Okay.
And then, and then the second sponsor it was like it's like a week or two apart. Second sponsor was a clothing company and called Nasty Kids Clothing. I remember, Nasty Kids Clothing.
That's a weird name.
It was a weird name, like, and also another thing, like, I was too young to sign a contract, right? I remember like guys coming to the house, like talking to my parents and stuff, and like all these papers, and I didn't know what was going on. Like I was 11 years old. I didn't know what was going on. And yeah, it was just crazy time. Like if I think about it now, like I don't think the clothing company was around for much longer, to be honest. I think they were like a startup, and like they sponsored the event, and then they had a good intention for sure. They treated me really well. So yeah, no, that was my first two sponsors. The crazy thing is, like, there was a skate shop that sponsored me called Russ Skate Shop, and the guy that owned it his name was Simon, and I still see him to this day. I was at the skate shop like every single day because they had like a mini ramp inside. I swear, every day I wouldn't leave till they closed the shop. Like that was literally all I did.
I used to be like that. Go to the park in the morning, the last one to leave.
Oh yeah, like in the skate park where we were skating, I used to skate until the park closed, and I knew the security guard really well because I was there all the time. And I'd leave, they'd change shifts, and I'd come back. And the new security guard would let me in. Yeah, just so I'd skate throughout the night. So it was like I had that extra time, before I try and get home,
That sounds cool. Do you find it more stressful nowadays to skate compared to when you were younger?
No, actually, not at all. I actually find it just easier to, kind of film and go into contests and stuff. Like in the beginning, you kind of you keep going back to the drawing board, trying to figure out what works for you, But when you do figure that out, it's a little bit more, stress-free. You can kind of go, okay, these are the tricks I know how to do. Let's see what we can learn from there. So you kind of already confident knowing that you can do what, X amount of tricks, and you can go, okay, you kind of have the freedom to, kind of mix them up and, just experiment a little bit. So in the beginning it was stressful because I just wanted to learn everything. Like every trick I saw on a video, I just wanted to learn it, and it was stressful because I put a lot of pressure on myself, like I made a thing, like every session that I go, every single session, like I have to learn at least 2 to 5 new tricks. I have to. And I did that. I put the pressure on myself. So I made myself stress out, But now, obviously it's just, you have that freedom to kind of experiment with different kind of tricks. So it's not as stressful as it was, not as painful as it was either.
What are the challenges when trying to make skateboarding your career in South Africa?
That's a good question. So I think the challenges are, in terms of making skateboarding career in South Africa, is definitely aligning yourself with where you want to go. So for example, obviously USA and all these other countries are a lot different. The market is much bigger in terms of skateboarding. There's a lot going on all the time. So it's easier to kind of like connect the dots of where you want your career to go. In South Africa, it's a little bit different because we don't have too many events. It's not like a market like that. So the challenge definitely comes from, shaping your career around what is available in terms of opportunity. So in a way, it's also really, really good to experiment, keeps you kind of outside of your comfort zone. You have to always keep thinking, which is really good. I mean, for me personally, I hate being in a comfort zone. One thing that I always like to do is just keep thinking, so that when I see a challenge, like I told you right now, as much as it is a challenge, it's also an opportunity to kind of piece your career together with where the market is in South Africa and make that work.
Have you ever thought about like moving to America or that kind of thing, or you happy where you live?
I've definitely thought about it for sure. And I mean, if I had the opportunity, I would definitely do it. There's just a few things that I'd like to accomplish in South Africa for sure. Aside from, obviously, if I lived in the USA, I still represent South Africa. Come to Olympic qualifiers, come to Olympics, I represent South Africa regardless of where I'm living.
That's like, stay true to your roots and your hometown.
Yeah, always, man, always.
How did you get like your more mainstream sponsors, like let's say Nokia and Boss Ice Tea? Like, how did you manage to get more sponsors outside like the skate industry?
To be honest, you also, another thing, you must also figure out, what is your goal? What are your goals? And, what brands do you want to align yourself with? So for me, Nokia Mobile is a brand that I've wanted to align myself with for a long time, because, that was my first mobile phone. And, that kind of, it hits home because it's always with you throughout your career. So for me, I already knew, the brands I wanted to align myself with, because, I have passion for that brand. It's more than just a sponsor or a brand or something like that. For me, it's like, it's part of my career, and obviously Nike has been, part of just in my career, motivating me all the time. When I was younger and I was in hospital for months and I saw Michael Jordan, that was it. That motivated me so much. And after that, it was like, if this guy can do it, like anyone can do it for sure. And then, so there's so much things. And I think anything at the end of the day is attainable. So for example, if you're, one of your dreams is to be sponsored by a mainstream company, can be anything of your choice, and you're really passionate about that company, and you find it has a deeper meaning for you, then, you'll definitely know how to approach them. You'll be real and honest with them of, why you want to align yourself. So I think it wasn't really like a certain process or anything like that. I was just honest to the brands that I'm with, and, loyal to the brands that I'm with, and they understand that with me, and we have a really good working relationship.
That's great. Also, the thing that I hear when you say it coming from is you want to associate yourself with companies that you already like you said, you like Nokia, you use their products, so like you're the one that's going to have to be like promoting them online and that kind of thing. So you want to be like true to it. You don't just want to go along with them and just use them for like a paycheck. You want to like, act like you actually care about the product. You actually, like, you get where I'm coming from. Like, you want to be...
Yeah, I mean, look, these are brands that the world loves for decades before me or you were around. These are brands that shaped the world to what it is today. So it's really it's an honor for me to be part of that, to be part of a brand that has done that before I was around and is continuing to do that to this day.
Motivating.
It's motivating, to be part of that, to be part of not just their legacy but also their dedication to what they put into their brand. It makes you put that much effort into what you want to do, for sure.
What was the feeling like getting your own ambassador wheel?
Wow, I was speechless for a couple of days.
I can imagine.
I couldn't talk. I really could not talk. Yeah, I think that really hit, really hit me, because like that's something you dream of, that's something you see as skateboarding. That's like the moment that you made a mark like in the world. And really, when I saw that, I was like, wow, like it's possible. Like I just thought to myself, like when I was younger, like, oh, no, this is not possible because I'm from Athlone or whatever. And like, I just made all that up in my head. Really, I did. And then when I saw that and they gave me that opportunity, Connexion Wheels gave me the opportunity, I was like, wow, really. Because what you did, you like give me this wheel. You didn't just like give me an opportunity. You kind of proved like the world wrong right now. I mean, everybody. So for me, that's what made me speechless, was like in that one moment, like everything just made sense, you know. So it was like I was so thankful to Connection Wheels for that, and also just like believing in me, because they saw me years before that, and I thought, you know, like this, you know, this kid has something. Let's back him. Thankfully, they did, and you know, Connection Wheels is growing bigger and bigger every year. You know, every contest I'm at, you know, I got the wheels, and you know, we continue to represent. And next year is gonna be bigger. End of this year is gonna be bigger. There's a big surprise coming out.
Can't wait to see it.
Cool, man.
Were you skating Connection Wheels like before they came to you, or you only found out about them because they came to you wanting to like sponsor you? Because I only found out about the brand through you when I heard you got your own wheel.
Yeah, I was just getting flowed wheels wherever I could. I didn't have a wheel sponsor at all, and they saw me in Paris at the World Cup skateboarding. Like I had a good run, and the guy came. He's like congratulated me, and then came to speak to me afterwards, and he heard I was from South Africa, and you know, we just kind of hit it off from there. You know, he said, "I'll just send you some wheels, see where it goes." And wow, you know, I didn't expect it to unfold to what it is now, but it did. You know, I'm glad you know, he believed in me and took a shot, and really, like, now we're talking about Olympics. You know, it's really crazy to where things are going. So I mean, Ensign, the guy that the team manager, he's like mentor to me. You know, we speak all the time, and you know, it's more than just like me riding the wheels now. We like family, you know.
Yeah, that's sick. It's good that you're part of sponsors that you like friends with and your family with the people, instead of just like using them to get free stuff and then not even caring about everyone else.
I generally don't like to, you know, have relationships like that, like in terms of brands, where it's just like take, and we don't like, there's no like, because like I always have like a lot of ideas and things, and like to implement, like, you know, and I always find it's good for us to have like a good working relationship, you know, because when I go to a brand, like I'm really passionate about that brand. I think, yeah, that's like a bit of a difference. Like I'm passionate about what the brand stands for, if I can say, you know, and that is something that, you know, like I really look forward to, you know, like every single day. You know, when I put on Nike shoes, you know, I'm passionate about what it stands for, about, you know, putting on Nike footwear, you know. So it's a lot more to it for me, you know.
How did you get sponsored by Nike?
I mean, I've known the Nike team for like a long time, and you know, in South Africa, it's different to what it is in the US. So I spoke to Nike, and they said you know, they'll start supporting me, and thankfully, you know, I mean, we have an awesome relationship, and you know, they're awesome bunch of guys, and amazing team all around the world. Everyone part of Nike is amazing. So yeah, I mean, you know, I've been the skaters
Niger.
best in the world. Yeah, everyone. Shane O'Neill.
Nike swooping up all the best guys. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but you have a manager for your career, if I'm correct.
Management. Yes. So I'm signed to Celebrity Services Africa. They are management agency.
What do they do for you? Do they like help you get like sponsorships and that kind of stuff?
They do quite a bit. They help me in more than one way possible. You know, I'm really happy that they, you know, obviously saw potential in me as well, and you know, took a shot with me. And I'm glad we've made history in South Africa. So really thankful for that.
What made you want to like get like a management to help you with your career and that kind of thing? Because something that I find weird with with skaters, like in the skating industry, is it's kind of like frowned upon to have like a manager to manage your career. Because I remember listening to an interview with Paul Rodriguez, and he was talking about having a manager and how everyone was like didn't like it that he got a manager. Meanwhile, his manager helped him like get his Nike deal and all this other stuff. So like, what made you want to get one?
I've just noticed that my career was like going a different route, you know. I mean, just me as a brand, so to say, a bit for better use of words, was going a different route, and it was a lot of media, and I just, you know, I noticed that's something different is happening here, definitely. And yeah, I think, you know, I just needed that support, that guidance, you know, from a management company, and obviously, you know, being with the best management company is something that I'm really, really grateful for. So I think, to be honest, you know, I get what you're saying, where people frown upon it or whatever, but my question is why, you know?
Same.
At the end of the day, like, you need to ask yourself, like, where do you want to go? You know, where do you want to take your career? To be honest, where do you want to go? So if you want to get somewhere that, you know, you can't obviously do it alone, you know, you want to shock the world. You know, you obviously sometimes you can't do it alone. And maybe, you know, that's where Paul was saying, you know, having his manager, everything help him achieve these goals that seemed impossible. You know, you need to do that. You need to think about that as well. And you also need to think about your career, you know, where you want to take your career. You know, do you want to, how professional, and, you know, do you want to take this? You know, it all comes down to really like what you want. Like, I mean, if some maybe skateboarders or anyone like frowns upon it, my question is again, you know, why? You know, I could think of 101 ways that it could help them, but yeah, definitely, I think it's the best way forward.
I also don't know why it's frowned upon. I think it's kind of stupid because if you want to like go forward in your career and that kind of thing, you're obviously going to need help from people who know what they're doing and have been in the industry and that kind of thing. And it's like for the people who are just like wanting to cruise around to skate for fun, they don't need it. But for people like you and like Paul Rodriguez want to make it their career, you need other people to like help you on the journey.
And definitely, and look, to each his own. To each his own. If you want to, you know, obviously skate and like not go that route, then that's cool. You know, that's all good. But there are skateboard or people, just athletes in general, that want to kind of align themselves correctly and, you know, take it a step further. Definitely.
What made you want to beat skateboarding world records?
Long story. So I took out the Guinness Book of Records every single week in school, every single week, only because there was skateboarding in there. I was like my skateboarding magazine I could read every day, although I read the same thing 100 times. And I saw it as like this thing that was impossible and was for, you know, only a select group of people that could do these kinds of things. So in the back of my mind, I was already setting myself up for it. You know, I was already wanting to try something to that. That was like a goal I set for myself. So when I got to a certain level in skateboarding, that I realized, you know, I won gold for the first time since this, you know, sport began in the country. I thought that was impossible, but it's not impossible. You know, that was like the first thing. I was like, okay, well, what else did I think was impossible? I thought breaking world records was impossible just because, I don't know, I just thought about it like it was. So I went for it. I gunned it literally everything that I kind of said no to in the past. So breaking world records is one of it, and it was a way to push myself and continue to push myself just as a person. You know, I was told that I would never be able to do sports when I was younger because of my medical condition, and that's something that I fight every single day. So breaking world records is just another way for me to fight that and be strong, you know.
Which records did you break again? I know you did the most nollie heel flips in 1 minute.
Yeah, twice.
Sorry, so you beat your own record.
Yeah, pretty much. I applied for it again. Most nollie heel flips, most nollies in 30 seconds, most fakey heel flips in a minute, and the first South African gold, silver, and bronze medals for competitive skateboarding.
Congratulations.
Thank you. There's more to come. I have a goal, but I'm running out of time in the year, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this.
You need to take some pill that makes you have energy for as long as possible.
No, I'm good. I think just like I need to get my mindset right, you know. It's one of those things where it's like when you're skating like a big obstacle, you kind of know if your body or your mind is there or not. You know, when you get there, like, do I have this, or maybe I should come back when I'm ready, or that kind of thing. So records for me is like one of those things, you know, you kind of gotta like get your head into the right space for sure.
Wasn't one of the records first done by Rob Dyrdek?
Yes, it was. The most fakey heel flips was set 13 years ago, and I broke it this year.
Nice. There's one Rob Dyrdek record you're not going to beat, and that's the riding the world's biggest skateboard.
that was so cool. It's huge. I actually saw it. It's massive. It was actually standing outside the California training facility when we went for the Olympic qualifier. Man, that thing is massive. Like it's unbelievable that they actually built something like that rides. Like
he did it.
Yeah, he did it. He got the record.
Rob's a crazy dude.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Did you ever meet him when you were doing the street league stuff?
No, I didn't meet him. I thought I would, but I met like other guys that were there. Rob wasn't there though. I didn't. Well, maybe he was, but I didn't see him. Everyone else was there.
What was it like doing that container gap that you did for that photo shoot?
Wow. I think I've never been asked that question, to be honest.
I'm surprised because that photo was everywhere.
Yeah. At first it was scary. I'm just getting my phone charged up. There we go. At first it was scary, you know, just like because I knew, look, they told me if you fall, it's like game over for sure. Because I think it was like
one take wonder.
stories high. Yeah, it was 3 stories high and 3-4 meters long. And I got into a different mind frame. Like the good thing was like I went through like a bunch of like sports psychology sessions before that to kind of get me to that level where I like had absolutely no fear of consequence at all, like no fear. And thankfully after that day, what I learned through those sessions will never leave me. So that container jump was like the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, only because I purposefully did not want any protective gear at all. Like they offered it to me and I said no, because I was like, you're giving me a helmet, you're giving me all of this stuff, and yes, it's going to protect me, but at the same time you're also giving me the option to fall 10 stories high right now. I don't want that option. I think we're just going to we're going to go in, land it, and go home.
So it was only one try.
Yeah, one try. I did it like first try happened, but then like we didn't get the shot properly, so I kept doing it, but I had to land it obviously every time. I tried to flip it, like I flipped it and I caught it, and at the end I slipped out, but I got so scared after that. I was losing the concentration, and I just said, yeah, let's take it down.
How did you practice for it? Did you go to like skate parks and just like test out the gaps there?
No, not at all. No gaps, nothing. I literally woke up and did it. Literally, there was no practice at all. I mean, it wasn't like a stair set or like a handrail where like, okay, if I'm gonna try and film like flip back lip, I have to go practice flip back lip a couple of times just to make sure I got it, because I was just ollieing it, right? So it wasn't like I didn't know how to ollie a gap. It was just a mental thing, and that's what I needed to overcome, was the mental situation.
Have you already qualified for the Olympics? I know you went out to the contests.
Okay, so I think like I can explain how it works a little bit. Like, so we finished season 1, right? And then you needed top 2 scores to get to season 2. It was so crazy for me because like I only had budget to go to 2 contests. So I had to make sure those 2 contests got me into season 2. I competed, got high score, and got into season 2 and went to the first event of season 2. And that's obviously when, the pandemic affected the whole world, affected everything. So I was in the top 3 highest ranked skateboarders for the continent for Olympic skateboarding. There's 1,000 skateboarders in the entire Olympic skateboarding, and I'm in the top 100. So for me to compete when it starts going again, and then, for me to compete in the entire season 2, basically, obviously if I decide not to compete, my name will just drop down the list like that. So, you obviously have to keep showing up overall, works out. So for season 2, in order to be obviously compliant, you have to complete the season to qualify, and you also have to compete in the national contest that's supposed to happen hopefully, sometime soon next year. We can maybe look at that happening. But yeah, so at the end of the day, there's still work to be done. We have an entire season 2 to compete and to obviously get us to the Olympics in 2021.
Was anyone else from South Africa doing these contests? 'Cause I know Brandon Varjolo, the guy from Joburg, was in some of them.
No, there wasn't from South Africa. I was thinking there was, but it's not from. They were from Benin, another place in Africa called Benin. There was another one, Morocco. Nassim, Morocco. There was a Moroccan skateboarder there, pro skateboarder. So it was cool to kind of also meet everyone, from like in Africa. I thought that was really cool to see everyone. You only meet skateboarders in your country, in South Africa. So it was cool to meet people from like within Africa. That was cool.
What are your general thoughts on skateboarding in the Olympics? Because in the skateboarding community, it's kind of divided. Like some people get that it's good for the sport but don't really care. Some people are anti it, some people just don't care in general, and some people are like very passionate about it like you. So what are your like general thoughts on the Olympics with skating?
It's the same thought I have on skateboarding contests. It's pushing the progression of skateboarding, definitely. Olympics is the highest level of competition in sport ever. You don't get higher than that. And the fact that skateboarding is there just shows you how far skateboarding has come. And all of us as skateboarders should actually feel, really like we've done this together. It didn't take one skateboarder to take skateboarding to the Olympics. As we, as a big community, as a family, we've progressed skateboarding to the level that it's at the Olympics right now. So I think I think it's, obviously, yes, it's a positive for the sport, definitely. It's going to, take the sport even higher than it is. It's one of the most popular things in the world right now. And, I think Olympics is definitely going to give skateboarding the recognition I feel that it deserves. Skateboarding is one of the hardest sports you get. It's definitely, in terms of extreme sports, it's one of the hardest things you get. And I think the world is going to see, a different, let's say, bunch of athletes, very different, see a very different side to, I would say, sports. Skateboarding is not like everything else. It's definitely not. And I think, it's something new. It's something new, definitely. And I think the world's going to love it, for sure.
I think it's a good thing for skateboarding, because if the Olympics does well and everyone puts on a good show, then the government might see what skateboarding does and might put more money towards parks and providing boards and all this good stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like we worked in the beginning, we were together, skateboarders, pushing the progression of skateboarding. In the same way, we're going to be able to do that. The fact that skateboarding is already listed, as an Olympic sport changes everything already. We didn't even compete yet. It already changes everything, because, skateboarding wasn't looked at in that kind of light. I still get it to this day where I'll say I'm a skateboarder and they go, what? Like, you do what? Yeah, I'm a skateboarder. So I just think it's definitely going to change that, I would say, stigma that, we have. I mean, everything has a stigma to it. I mean, skateboarding has it, a lot of things have it, but I think it's definitely going to show, the world how much we put into our sport, for sure.
I agree, and I support it.
Nice, that's good.
There's no need to hate it. It's doing something good for the sport, and even if you don't really care about it, it's not like it's going to affect you. You can still go out there, skate the streets, and forget about it, and then other guys you can go and try and compete in the Olympics.
Exactly. I mean, again, to each his own. Everyone, is entitled to, their opinion of, what it is. But at the end of the day, you don't need to, choose a certain way. If you want to go this way, others want to go that way, that's fine, as long as you're happy with, what you're doing, for sure.
Exactly. So I heard from your Instagram that you're filming a new video part. So what's the filming process been like for you?
Wow. It's been, to be honest, a lot easier than I thought. I just realized, I've been competing for 2-3 years straight. No street skateboarding, nothing. Nothing at all. And I've just been focusing on that, just because, I have my own just goals and stuff, with that. But we started skating street again, and when we started filming, the tricks was it was easier for me to get them because I've just been practicing them for contests. So you go out to the street and it's just you start stacking. And we were out the other day filming with my friend, and in the first hour, we got without a word of a lie, we probably got 20 clips within the first hour, because I was just going at it, the way I would be in a park, and we were just stacking. And then we came back, I posted the one video. So many people from all around the world, they were so stoked to see it, and that gave me so much more motivation, because then I realized, wow, I haven't been skateboarding for a while. I've just been focusing on competitions, and now it's so much fun, just to kind of get back in the street and start filming clips. And obviously the tricks that I didn't know how to do back then that I've been practicing, I can do now. So certain combinations, dream tricks is going to come out. I've been trying to film my ender for the past 6 months. One clip, I just can't. It's one of those things, I'm definitely pushing myself, definitely, but we'll see where it goes.
I'm looking forward to seeing your part.
Thanks, bro.
Earlier on this year, I released my second video part. Just something fun.
Nice. That's perfect. You should drop me that link.
I will. I'll send it to you.
Sweet.
So one thing I know about you is that you're big with the social media. What made you want to take social media seriously?
I was studying it, social media marketing, and I obviously could see a opportunity to implement what I'm studying into my own career. Definitely, there's so much opportunity, it's ridiculous. So I implemented what I know, still implementing to this day. Obviously, social media is changing, every single day. But, studying it definitely helped me a lot. Obviously, I'm studying something different right now, but that definitely helped me.
How many times a week do you like post on like Instagram? Like do you schedule out posts like every day, or do you have like a certain time, like 5 times a week I'm going to post something, or 3 times a week? Do you have like a schedule for your posting?
I do, but it's already locked in my head. I post every single day on my platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I focus for more high production stuff, so I don't post as much as I would like to on YouTube. But hopefully when when the pod comes out, I can start putting out some clips on there for sure.
Which social media platform is your favorite?
Instagram for sure.
I like Instagram too.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more skate videos for me to watch as well.
Also, Instagram is more interactive. Like on there, more people like comment and share and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's the most active right now. Definitely. I mean, TikTok is obviously picking up, but Instagram is definitely still, where I look for skateboarding for sure.
I don't know what's going on with TikTok. Apparently, it's getting banned in America. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard about that. I actually want to see how far they got with that.
TikTok doesn't seem like my thing. It's all that dancing.
Yeah, it's very different to like what you can put out there. I mean, yeah, different, I would say.
Exactly. What are your hobbies besides skating? Like, what do you do in your free time when you're not skating?
So, like, I also do like I enjoy training. I mean, outside of skateboarding, I really like training. Like, not just because for skateboarding, but just as a hobby. It's something that keeps me motivated. Dedicated to what I do. And obviously, I'm studying right now as well.
What you studying?
I got the scholarship at the HFPA Sports Academy to study national sports management. So I'm really stoked about that. And that's kind of giving me, and it's helped me quite a bit. I've just noticed in the last couple of meetings I've had, just an understanding, in-depth understanding of my field, but so to say, just to generalize it, it's an in-depth understanding of it for sure.
That's cool. Do you do any other sports besides skating, or is it just skating and like training?
Yeah, I didn't do any other sports. I kind of mess around a little bit with basketball, like whenever I can, but yeah.
Ever tried surfing?
No. I just think I actually have like a little bit of a phobia for water, like swimming and all of that. I have a little bit of a phobia for it, so I kind of avoid any possible situation where I have to face that. So.
Well, that's all my questions. Thanks for doing this. This was
Cool. Anytime. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm really stoked, man.
You're welcome. I'm stoked to have you on my show.
For sure, bro. Thank you so much for everything as well.
You're welcome. I want to take a quick photo for the gram.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta show off them hanging out with Jean-Marc.
And then I'm gonna screenshot that as well.
Cool.
There we go. Let me take a screenshot.
Okay.
One more. Let me do one more. Let me just get it right like that. And then go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect, bro. Got it.
Thanks for doing this.
Time.
Hope to skate soon.
Yes, for sure. Let me know, man. Just send me a message and we make it happen.
I'm friends with Josh Adams and he's friends with Sodic, so maybe when they skate we can...
Yeah. No, I know Josh. He's a homie.
He's cool.
Cool, bro.